Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome back to Show Me Your Gardens 2.0. I will link the first series of Show Me Your Gardens, which is different videos of showing off all the gardens that you've submitted from zones 3 all the way to zones 10, USDA zones 10. And they are just they're just incredible. So we've started off at zone 10 this time and we've worked our way down. Now we are at zone 4. So we're starting to get into the cooler zones. We're starting to go a bit north up into Canada, and I have some beautiful, beautiful gardens to show you all. So let's start off in Minnesota. We're going to go to Tony's garden. Tony is known as the Plant Practitioner on Instagram, and he has a lovely, lovely garden, zone 4, but it's so interesting because in zone 4, I think of it as cold and rainy, but Tony is talking about drought tolerant plants, plants that can handle dryness in his garden, which is super interesting. So let's head to Minnesota and take a look at Tony's garden.
Hello, Janie and fellow viewers. My name is Tony, and I am coming to you from the suburbs of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm here with the chickens. I am going to bring you along and do a garden tour of my mini garden.
Okay, folks, here is the first garden. This is my sidewalk garden. It is a hot, dry, west-facing garden, so it's got to take the heat. So we've got lots of native to nativars, drought-tolerant plants, anything from butterfly weed and blanket flower, pale purple coneflower, Ozark coneflower, salvias, yarrow, shrubby St. John's wort. Heavily rely on those drought-tolerant, perennials. We got a bunch of liatris, bunch of coneflowers. Everybody, you've got to get some butterfly weed. I love butterfly weed. We installed this pathway this year. I've got Gara lining the pathway, a berm full of nasturtiums. This used to be high maintenance lawn, didn't take the droughts, but lots of native to nativars, lots of drought tolerant perennials, ajuga lining the pathway. This was installed last fall. Okay, so here is the front of the house, and this is kind of a mixed border. We've got some Queen of Sweden roses, wild senna. This grass that I line the front is called prairie dropseed. Fantastic native grass. Butterfly weed, Senorita Cleome, Lady of Charlotte Rose. This is wild senna, great native plant for those looking for native plants. We got sedum, Neptune catmint. This is a type of faded bee balm. Bradbury's bee balm. Highly recommend. More penstemon, again, 9 bark, lots of natives, sedum. And I did this year, I installed this bed to wrap around the entire house. That's new this year. And because of a rabbit pressure, we did 9 barks. All right, folks, we made it to the backyard. Let's just preface this by saying it's a disaster back here. We got lots of projects going on. Solarizing the lawn is one, but I created this bed this year. We got some smaller variety lilacs with some oh so easy roses. And it kind of just goes down to the deck that we have on the back of the house that we finished this year. We've got a 9 bark hedge and a gold flame honeysuckle. We're going to be installing some more American pillar arborvitaes along this fence line. We got several started. This is our vegetable garden, and that attaches to the chicken coop. Another amazing gold flame honeysuckle, and we've got some remodel of the gardens in the back corner there. We've got cup plant that kind of goes down to another line of American pillar arborvitaes. Here's the water feature garden. And lots of coreopsis, stonecrop, bee balm, wild strawberry is a great ground cover, lamb's ear, prairie dropseed. This kind of merges into what I call my rose garden. So I got some David Austin roses, catmint, Blue Festival St. John's wort. And then this is my studio. I installed this last year. I built the deck this year. This border here is kind of my mixed border. It also is where I put a lot of plants I don't know what to do with. But I fill it up and then I move things like all gardeners do. And it's everything from roses to nine barks to dogwoods and grasses, bee balms, butterfly weed, catmint and yarrow. Kind of just an eclectic mix of color. But it's been a work in progress back here. We've had lots of projects going on, from rain barrels to a deck. The water feature was put in 2020, the studio, you name it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.
Tony, it's so gorgeous. And I love that you love the orange and purple combination, because I love that too. Your butterfly weed mixed with your Russian sage is just stunning. And I need to see if I can grow that butterfly weed in my garden, because it's so beautiful. It reminds me of Tracy's garden, Plaid and Poppies. And she's in Michigan, and it is just, it's just a gorgeous plant. So thank you so much for sharing with us, Tony. Again, anybody on here that does have social, whether YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, I will link it in the description down below. So I will, of course, link Tony's Instagram in the description down below. So now we're headed to Canada. We're headed to Ontario, and we're going to go take a look at Leanne's garden. And she lives in Campbellcroft, Ontario, Canada. And Leanne, first of all, your garden is stunning, but your borrowed landscape, I just can't believe it. Let's watch.
Hi, Janie and Jason. Leanne here from Campbellcroft, Ontario, Zone 4. Here is my garden tour late in June, and this is the view from the front of our house. When we moved into this house, it was a new build. We're on 2 acres, and we have been slowly developing the gardens over the last 11 years. This is my front garden. You'll see the limelight hydrangea, daylilies, sage, coreopsis. That's the Medusa allium in front of the stone. I do have a butterfly bush in the back there. I'm not sure if it's going to make it. I don't have a lot of luck with butterfly bushes here. We're going to head over to the side yard, which is our shade garden. The majority of plants in this garden actually have come from my mom's garden. Each year she does divide some of her plants, gives them to me. So in here there are things like coral bells, lamium, hostas, ferns. I'm really hoping the ferns to spread. This was very overgrown, this area, so it has taken a lot of work to try to get it under control, and will be many more years as we develop it. So coming out of the side garden, we are going to go into the back garden. This garden has been particularly challenging due to dealing with septic tanks in here, light conditions, it gets the hot afternoon sun, poor soil conditions. So we've been stuck to, I've been trying many different things. The tried and true daylilies do well here. I tried the Surefire begonia last year and was really very successful with that for my annual in here. So I tried the rose color this year. In this garden I have the weeping purple beech, nepeta, spirea, phlox, Siberian iris, which I really like for structure in here, a limelight, or so I think it's a tidbit hydrangea, a dappled willow, the veronica also does well for me here. So we're going to head down for this little path to my newest garden that I've added. So this garden has a 3-in-1 pear tree, sedum. I plant dahlias and zinnias. I also have 2 rose bushes in this garden, but it's just been a fighting battle with all the pests that get them. And over here is my raised vegetable garden. I start all the vegetables from seeds, things like onions, tomatoes, peppers, peas, beans, cucumbers, and then I also planted blueberries just a couple years ago. And here are the views from the back garden, which I thought I would end off with. This year my newest project was installing the drip irrigation. I bought a Rainbird kit to get started, expanded from there, and absolutely love it. It was intimidating at the beginning, but what a game changer.
Leanne, you can never move. Like, you can never move from that gorgeous property. You got so lucky. It is heaven on earth. It's absolutely gorgeous. Not only everything around your garden, but your garden is just stunning with all those beautiful trees, that lush green. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So thank you so much for sharing it with all of us. It's just stunning. All right, everyone, the next Zone 4 garden I have to show you is Tammy's garden. Tammy lives in Grand Falls, New Brunswick, Canada, and I just had to show you all the astilbe that Tammy is growing in her front yard. It is so beautiful. I have trouble growing astilbe, so Tammy, when I see this, I get very, very jealous. It's beautiful, and astilbe is one of the plants that Tammy says thrives in her garden. Along with the sedum, I think that there's sedum underneath that birch tree right there. Tammy also says hostas and hydrangeas and clematis do really well, but I love the grasses with what looks like supertunias in between. Oh, it's gorgeous. Now, as we're going to the backyard, we walk down Tammy's side yard and you can see these massive, massive hostas that look so clean and so beautiful, which is incredible because Tammy also says that some of the biggest challenges she faces in her garden are slugs and earwigs, which I totally get it, but Tammy, you've been doing a great job. As she kind of turns the corner here, there is this beautiful, beautiful rose arch. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. And the colors, I just think, play so well off of this smoke bush right here, the dark foliage, and then the dark kind of burgundy of this rose. Just stunning, Tammy. So here's her backyard, a beautiful grassy area with the bird fountain. Here's what I think is clematis back here growing on that trellis. I'm not totally sure because she goes by it kind of quickly, but it is so stunningly beautiful. So as she comes through this gated off area, she's going to take us back behind the greenhouse, which is what I assume her shade garden, because I see heucheras and I see hostas and I see brunnera, and it's just beautiful. Now, I'm pretty sure that's a Japanese maple, Tammy, which you said you have a hard time growing, but that one was looking pretty good. It might not be a Japanese maple, but it looks really good. She is going to come down the stairs right here and just kind of show us a view back the other way when there's some lungwort as well. Oh, it is really, really good. All right, then coming back towards her front yard, you can see Tammy's full hedge of hydrangeas, which are so beautiful and obviously so very happy. Now she's going to take us up onto this patio, this deck, and we can see her annuals. And look at these annuals that she is growing in Canada. They are so beautiful and they are in full swing right now, and they are just as happy as can be. Okay, and then stay tuned to the very end of Tammy's video, because at the very end, she gives us a shot of her greenhouse. Look at how beautiful that thing is. Thank you so much, Tammy, for sharing this with us. I loved it. So for our last Zone 4 garden, we're going to stay in New Brunswick, Canada, and we're going to go take a look at Christa's garden. Christa lives in a mini home park, so that means that she doesn't own the land that her home is on. She leases the land, and they do have restrictions like they cannot plant trees, which I understand if you don't own the land, but definitely has restrictions. And being in Zone 4, Christa has a very short growing season, but it's just so impressive to see what she's done with those hurdles of not being able to plant exactly what you want and having a short growing season. Her garden is still absolutely beautiful. So let's go take a look at Christa's garden.
Hi Janie, my name is Christa and I live here in New Brunswick, Canada, on the East Coast on the border of Maine, Zone 4B. So our growing season is very short. Our last frost was May the 29th. Our first frost can be anywhere from the end of September to mid-October, depending on our weather situation. As you can see, my annuals are in full bloom. They've been in the ground about 5 weeks, so in about a month's time they will be really glorious. Here I live in what is called a mini home park. We do not own the land, we lease it, therefore we cannot plant trees or shrubs. So I've done my best to add some color here in my garden. This is my big front bed at the front, and to the side, in the small planter was added this year, I added a mini Mauvette hydrangea. Yes, I did. In my little containers is the pink super bells with 2 faux cedar trees, we cannot have real. The big middle planter, of course, has my bubblegum and salvia. Bubblegum will take off. And I have another mini Mauvette, which I'm hoping will not bloom this year, but I'm hoping next year. It's just kind of getting settled in. Moving around to my big planters on the side, I pick a theme each year. This year I picked purples. So of course I have Supertunia Bordeaux, sweet potato vine, and this pink unmarked petunia that came to the nursery without a marker, but it is a proven winners. I also have my purple fountain grass hidden in there, which hasn't poked its head through yet. Here in my small pot, again, we have super bells in pink and some bacoca. I like to hang out up here on the deck, and of course I have my 2 planters full of snowdrift supertunias, and a new one to me this year, which was called Indigo Supertunia. As we walk to the back of my property, you will see another container with some indigo supertunia, and then you will see what I call my big flower bed. And I'm hoping to expand that here in the future, but I try to do a little each season. Of course, you'll see a tutor. Yes, Janie, I built myself a tutor after seeing your video and color-coded it to my colors. Here in my big bed, you'll find, again, some Supertunia bells in pink. I also have some Supertunia yellow, Supertunia mini yellow. I also have 2 salvias. And of course, I have the unmarked pink petunias as well. I like to repeat my colors throughout the front to the back, so it's a continuous look. Again, a mini pink, and you move over to the side to the same repeat as the salvia and the mini yellows. Thank you for allowing me to tour you around my garden, Zone 4B, and I hope that you get to enjoy the rest of your summer.
So thank you, Christa, and thank you to everybody else who submitted their videos for Zone 4, Show Me Your Gardens. It's just been so fun. It's been a fun journey to go and look at such a different zone from mine, to see everything being so lush and so green. And it's just so much fun, and it's so beautiful. Again, I will link anybody's socials that they wanted me to share with you in the description down below. Be sure to check those out. And I will also link last year's Show Me Your Gardens playlist in the description down below as well. So we have one more Show Me Your Garden video. That is Zone 3. Stay tuned for that tomorrow. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.